Eric Alcoholic, what up, my people? What up, y'all? Y5, Y5, Y5. What is going on? Let me read this real quick. Life will take on new meaning. To watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. And this speaker right here has helped me witness these 12-step promises right here. Oh my goodness. To see day one and to see today is just gives you so much joy. I think Silky said whenever I need he said whenever I need a mental uplift, I often think about another case. And this young lady always brings me a mental uplift to see the despair and to see God snatch her out of it is just a miracle. So I'll let her tell you about it. I'd like to introduce to some, reintroduce to others, Diana Rose.
Hi, my name is Diana, and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for asking me to be here. I'm really excited to share my experience, strength, and hope on steps one, two, and three. Um, well, I have a sponsor. She asked me to be here, and this is my first time sharing. So, just a little bit nervous, but I'm grateful that we're all alcoholics and you all understand where I've been and where I'm trying to go. So, on step one, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives had become unmanageable. For me, what I learned is I really didn't want to be powerless and unmanageable. It was really hard for me to say that and to really believe that my life could have gotten out. But when I realized that I would take one drink of alcohol and I couldn't stop, and I didn't know where I was going or how the day would go, but I would still do it. I knew I knew as soon as I had that sip in me, it could go anywhere, but I still continued to take that first sip. Um, I've taken step study meetings over the last year, and one thing I've learned, which really opened my mind up, was us alcoholics, we actually have had a change in our bodies by consuming too much alcohol. It turns into acetone, and that's that craving that we have. We get a craving for more because it's a physical thing that happens inside of us. And when I learned that, I was just so grateful to have that information in my mind because it just was another reminder that it's a mental problem and it's a physical problem that I have. And being unmanageable, my life was all over the place. I had two dogs, and I didn't have I had a car payment that I was not able to make much longer. I wanted to give them a home, but for some reason, I was spending most of my money on alcohol. My life was unmanageable, and I just, for some reason, when I drank, it became the center of my world, center of my day, um, and I neglected my responsibilities. And so, step two says we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And that's another thing. Really? I'm insane? How tough is that to take that in and to to admit that out loud to people that I'm insane? But how insane is it that I know what alcohol does to me and I know what alcohol causes in my life and I know where it's taken me and yet I still continue to drink? That's insane. Um, a tough story to tell of insanity is staying in a relationship for too long and knowing that if I was in that relationship, we would continue to drink together. He provided the alcohol and it was okay how much we were drinking together because that's just how our life was. That's insane. Um, in one of my stories, I didn't want to admit this, but I had been drinking early in the day, took a nap, woke up, got in a fight and with my ex, and I thought, maybe I could escape out of a window, but it was a second story, and I ended up falling out and broke both of my feet. I didn't want to admit that there was alcohol involved for a long time, but the fact is, I had alcohol that morning, and if I wasn't drinking that day, I probably wouldn't have been put in that position to have broken both of my feet and to have had to have surgery. Um, it took about a year of my normal life, that healing process. I was on crutches and it was bad. And I still wasn't done drinking. I had joined meetings and I had went over the steps. I had tried to get a sponsor, but I was still insane. And once I learned that I had to have a power greater than myself, I was ready to move on to step three, which is to make a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. Now, when I say make a decision, that doesn't mean that I did it right away. I took step three multiple times, and that doesn't mean that I actually succeeded in it because I I went to AA for about 10 months doing the 1, 2, 3 shuffle. Step one, step two, step three, going back and forth. Tried to do four and just kept going back. And it was tough for me. But when I made that decision and took action and really turned my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood Him, things began to change for me because I decided that I wasn't going to do things how I wanted to do them anymore because what I was doing wasn't working. I was making all these bad decisions. I was hanging out with bad people, and it just wasn't working. I had to make a better life for my dogs, and I had to make a better life for myself. Um, I got sober at 28, and to me, I was done, and I needed help, and God was there to help me when I needed Him. On Friday, I just celebrated 1 year of sobriety, and what an accomplishing feeling that was. I work my steps. My sponsor and we talk weekly. She's there for me. I don't make major decisions without consulting God first and without consulting my sponsor first. When I came into these rooms a year ago, I was afraid of my own shadow. I I couldn't make the littlest decisions for my life. And now I'm growing up. I still consult my sponsor and I still consult God because if I didn't, then again, I would be doing my own will. I had to surrender myself, and surrendering means to realize that I'm not in control. And when I realized that God was taking over, is when things started happening in my life, and I didn't know why. It was beyond my control. These wonderful things were happening. I was doing the next right thing. I was taking the next right steps. I was working the program, and all these amazing things unfolded for me. I entered into a program in February and graduated from that program in September. And I just recently purchased a vehicle, which was great because I had to surrender the vehicle that I couldn't make payments on anymore in May. So I went 7 months without a car, and I had to let it go, give it to God. If I didn't have a vehicle, it's not my will. I couldn't afford it. That was my choice. I a bad choice again. So I take things one step at a time, one day at a time, and amazing things unfold for me every single day. I went to a work party last night and I prayed before I went because there was going to be alcohol in an open bar. And guess what? I went there. I was sitting at a table. Turns out everybody on that table was sober, and I left the party sober. And just thank God for another day of sanity, sobriety, and having God make these decisions for me to put forth everything in front of me that I need, and all I have to do is to work this program and to do the next right thing is just amazing. What better thing could I ask for? So for the next 24 hours, I'm going to continue working these steps. And I'm going to continue doing steps 1, 2, and 3 every single day, because without those first 3 steps, I wouldn't be able to move forward and to have all the amazing things happen for me that have happened over this last year. So thank you for letting me be of service, and thank you for letting me be here today.
Wow, congratulations, girl. That was fantastic. 1 year, first time speaking, and you crushed it. That was fantastic. Absolutely best way to celebrate 1 year is to come in here and drop a bomb like that. That was really well done. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm going to shut up and turn the floor over to you, Denise. It is all yours.
Wow. Thank you, everybody. um, Hi, my name is Denise. I'm a recovered alcoholic. And hello, everyone. That was a phenomenal introduction, and I hope I can live up to it. But I'll tell you a little secret. So I'm here, my heart's like pounding out of my chest. It's not my first time speaking, Diana. You did a phenomenal job. So glad to be on the stage with you. But all of a sudden, my watch starts to do a little bup, 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 bup. I'm like, what is that? And I pop it open. It says your heart rate is going up. So my heart rate is at 140 beats a minute. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I didn't ever remember my watch doing that before. So anyway, I'm super excited to be here. Yeah, right? My sober date is June 17th, 1996. My home group is BYOC. It's actually a Zoom meeting. They used to meet in New Rochelle, but we've decided that we're going to just do Zoom for now. We meet on Monday nights, beginners big book meeting at 6:45. We meet on Wednesday nights with a great big book meeting. Is a primary purpose guide big book meeting. It's a lot of fun. Please come if you can. Starts at 6:30, and Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. I'm not there often, but it's a great meeting. So come and visit. And you guys, look, I was told a little while ago, when you share your experience, strength, and hope with how you found God, with how you find God, how you experience God, because that is the true answer. And I don't know what I was doing the first year that I got here, right? So I got here in 1996, and I came to Alcoholics Anonymous because I wanted to stop drinking. That's it, right? I didn't want my life really to change it that much. I just thought my only problem was the fact that I couldn't stop drinking, and everybody else was my problem. And if I could just stop drinking, everything else would be all right. And I walked into that room, and I heard a couple of things that night in my first AA meeting. I remember them till today. I remember the feeling I got when I walked down the stairs to that church. And a matter of fact, it was in a church called New Life in Middle Village, New York. And I walked into that room, and it was a room filled with people. And a man up in front was talking about stuff, right? And the only thing I really remember him saying is, if you wanted to get better, all you needed to do was pray. You guys have stopped me in my tracks, because it's the one thing I knew how to do. I've been doing it from the time I was a little girl. I didn't have any bad experiences with that. I just didn't know that I could do that. And then you guys surrounded me. The Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous came in and surrounded me, and you guys saved my life. You saved my life at the beginning. And I'll tell you why. 30 days into Alcoholics Anonymous, my life got better. Everything. The sky was blue. The trees were green. I was awake. I was alive. I was loving life. And and I think it was right around, I'm gonna say right around 60 days or 70 days, my son took a knife to his wrist and wanted to kill himself. He was 10 years old. And I didn't know what to do. But you guys taught me from the very beginning that I needed to build a network, get telephone numbers, basically you told me to make friends with other people that were recovering, with other people that weren't drinking. See, you guys, before, when I got here, I was 30 something years old. You guys, I didn't do anything without drinking or drug, nothing. I didn't do the laundry. I didn't read a book to my kids. I didn't do anything. I didn't go to work. Oh, I didn't go to work, by the way, but I didn't do anything. And now, this bad news, my son's having this thing. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing now? And I run to you. And you taught me, you gave me telephone numbers, you told me who to call. And my son needed to see a psychiatrist. We took care of that. By the way, that psychiatrist came and went, but 90 days sober, we find a lump in my daughter's breast. She's 8 years old. Guys, I didn't know what to do, but you guys taught me, right? When I didn't know what to do, Diana, you said it, call your sponsor, right? Talk to God, call your sponsor. You see, guys, today I can pray and talk to my higher power. When I was 30 days sober, or 60 days sober, I couldn't hear anything else except you guys. God was talking through you, right? So you told me to go and talk to somebody, and you guys told me what to do. I need to bring Nicole to a doctor's. And then 100 days sober, my sister passes away. Because I didn't know even what to do. But I came to a meeting Sunday night. My home group was meeting. And you know how come I know that? Because I went to a meeting every single day at the beginning because I didn't know what else to do. So every day I knew where a meeting was in case I needed you guys. Because at the beginning, that's what it was. You guys got me through that. And 105 days sober, my daughter went to a hospital. She was 8 years old. And 2 days later, she was on a respirator, and the doctors were telling me her life was in God's hands. You guys, I couldn't breathe. I didn't leave that bedside. I didn't leave intensive care unit. But I was doing something right because you guys came and you surrounded me and you held me up and you reminded me that there's a power greater than myself, that I was powerless, that Nicole had a God, that I had a God, and we were all going to be okay, no matter what. Nicole came out of that coma, and my sponsor told me I needed to get to work. I don't really know what she meant by that, but I needed to start showing up at meetings. I needed to go out and share. I needed to do some step work. And at the beginning, back in 1996, when I walked into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, you guys were telling me that when the pain was great enough, I'd be able to go on to my next step. A little bit of a different message today. A little bit of a different message 2 years ago. But I listened to that message and I listened to you guys because I didn't know what else to do. So 4 years into this program, I don't know whether I want to drink or drive off the 59th Street Bridge. And by the way, I did a couple of third steps. I did a fourth step. I even did a ninth step. I told my mother I was sorry. And I wanted to drive off the bridge. And I didn't know what was wrong because you guys told me I could be happy, joyous, and free. And I was so far from it. I was lying, I was cheating, I was stealing. I just wasn't drinking. And I met some people that told me I was suffering from untreated alcoholism. And I thought, what the hell is that? But you guys told me I was suffering, and that if I wanted to get better, like I needed to stop skating around this thing, and I needed to do some work. And I was fortunate enough that I was brought through this program line by line, word by word, step by step. And I didn't have to do any of it alone. And when the book told me to pray, and our book tells us to pray, our book tells us to write, our book tells us to talk, and it tells us to do that over and over again. And I followed those directions. And then I carried this message, right? It says, try to carry this message. I think somebody said to you before, Holly, like, nobody is listening, right? Our job is to try and carry the message. Whether they listen, it's not up to us. So I did that for a little while, you guys, and I was doing it with vengeance because I was living a life beyond my wildest dreams. Not richer, didn't drive a fancy car. And a matter of fact, I was driving a piece of crap car, but living beyond my wildest dreams. There was peace in my heart, and love in my home. And I met a man, and I followed that man, and I followed the money. And that was in 2006. And you guys, I did this program, and I got books, I got step work, I got conferences, tapes upstairs. And I don't know what happened, but I got blinded. But I started to worship something different. That money was more important to me than God. You see, stopping drinking is just the beginning, right? Stopping drinking, it talks to me in my book a lot, 2 different times actually, doesn't mean much. And a matter of fact, I think the book says something like, a greater, I tell you, it's on page 20 something in my book, but it says that I have to, a greater observation is at home, right? My home, my occupation, my affairs. How am I treating the people around me? What am I doing? So, you know, I'm not drinking, but I'm not taking care of my kids. Now I'm working hours trying to make more money. I'm living with some man. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. AA is taking a backseat to my life. And that goes on for a long time. And I get stuck in untreated alcoholism and I can't see it. I think Peter M. talks about that. Like, you don't see it when you're going backwards. You can't even see it. And 2014, I have a brand new set of twins. I am self-will run riot in my life. I'm making money. I'm taking care of everybody. I think I got it all together. I forget that I'm powerless, you know, but I think I got it all together. I am taking care of everybody. And I have a new set of twins. And all of a sudden, my youngest sister dies. You guys, the rug gets pulled out from under my feet again, and I am not on balanced ground anymore. And I step away from AA because I'm mad. I have a resentment that's so deep and so hurtful, and nobody cares about me, and I'm full of self-pity. And then my marriage starts to go down the drain. And I don't see my life is normal. It's just everybody else's fault. And thank God 2020 happens. And I don't mean thank God COVID happens. I mean, thank God I was brought in front of a Zoom screen with people that were recovered from a hopeless sense of mind, state of mind and body, you know, where people were actually talking about the truth, talking about, I had the page turned. So the ex-problem drinker, right, who was properly armed with facts about himself, won me over in about a minute. And I'll tell you how it happened. You know, I'm sitting in my living room and I am a mess, you guys. My life is falling apart. I don't want to leave my house. I owe the IRS a gazillion dollars, a lot of money. I'm so afraid they're going to lock me out of my office. I'm so afraid they're going to lock my doors. I'm not going to get back in my house. I'm sober 23 years. I'm away from a drink and I don't know how to live my life. My new relationship is down the tubes. That's just an absolute disaster. I've got 3-year-old, the boys in 2020, they're 6 years old. And I'm praying. I go to a conference, Fellowship of the Spirit. That's the conference I went to. And I started hearing when I started to hear the real truth. And I heard somebody talk about God. And I swear I felt like I got hit in the head. Like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot that I am powerless. I forgot that because I'm a real alcoholic, I need a power. And that power is God. My book tells me where that power is. And I completely forgot about it, right? On page 55, it talks about that power, that deep down inside each and every one of us is that great reality. All I got to do is get rid of the stuff. So 2020, I'm begging God to come back in my life. And I feel like I was picked up by the back of my neck and I brought in front of a computer and people are talking about the truth. They're talking about this program. They're talking about the 12 steps. They're talking about God. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is what I need. And BYOC was doing this thing and I told the truth. Somebody was like, wow, Denise, you're fire. I'm like, I'm not fire. I've been living on old recovery. Like I've done nothing new in so long. And these people were kind and generous and excited. And they're like, let's do this. Let's go through the book. And in 10 days, I went through this process again. And you guys, that light, it was just a dimmer of light. Deep down inside of me got lit. And I'm going to read something to you because on my way over to the office and then back again home, I'm like, what am we going to talk about? And I'm like, and all I kept hearing was shine the light, let the light shine your light on the path. Let people know that there is a path, right? And that path is the 12 steps. And I get a notification and it's and one of my Bible apps pops up. And guys, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I'm following the word of God. It's very in line with our book, believe it or not. And I didn't know that until 2020. And this thing says, before our light can shine before men, we must first of all have a light. And all God's children have the light of God's truth planted deep within their souls. And there are others God has put in contact with us whom he may wish to see our light. And we have no right to hide it from them. You guys, that's my job today, right? To go out there and tell you guys that there's a solution, how I got to that solution. And you can do it too, right? Anybody can do this if they truly want to be free. So I didn't find a woman. You guys, this woman called me and she said, Denise, do you need a sponsor? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm looking for a sponsor. And she's like, I can help you. Would you like to go through the process with me? And right after I did that 10-day thing with BYOC, we started all over again. And I went through this stuff. And she taught me about God being here and me being here. And that when I turned my will and my life over to God, and I did this 3rd step, and I wrote a 4th step, and I share my 5th step, and I start to do this 6 and 7, honest 6 and 7, by the way, starting to see those defects of character and really bringing them to God and asking him to remove them, because I can't change me. Only he can change me. I got to let him. How do I do that? I have to identify my defects. I do that in step 4. I share about in step 5. Step 6, I beg him to take them away from me, right? Root and branch. Step 7, I keep asking God, please change me. And by the time I start making my amends and I start getting to that daily inventory, all of a sudden I am almost at one with God. And my sponsor taught me how to do that, how to get with God, because that's my lifeline. That's my solution. And on a daily basis, I heard Diana talk about 1, 2, and 3. You guys, I got to work all the steps every day. I am just that much of a mess, right? 10, 11, and 12 is really important. It keeps me focused. It helps me to identify those character defects. It helps show me what the heck is wrong. Why am I intolerant? Why am I impatient? Why am I such a crab? I got a great life. But then I bring that stuff, and what do I do with it? Well, I better be bringing it back to 6 and 7 and asking God to take them away and change me. God, change me. Bless the people around me. Change me on a daily basis. And I'm watching the clock. I think I have a little while, right, Eric? Okay. So yeah, so here I get to, I go through this process with my sponsor, and I have an incredible experience. I had a brand new step 1 experience all over again, right? I realized, like, holy cow, I am truly a real alcoholic. And that means I can't not drink. I'm going to drink if I don't find a sufficient substitute. I am going to drink again. And that doesn't just mean that I got to pray to a God and believe in a power. Everybody, you can believe in it. What do I do with that stuff? Where do I go with it? So believing in that power, step 2 is important. Step 3, turning my will and my life. And I learned that that's my thought and my actions on a daily basis, the way I think, the way I act. And when I get through this process, right, get through this 4th and this 5th, and during that 5th step with my sponsor, I learned a lot of stuff about myself, right? They talk about it in our book. We learned some big, ugly truth, big chunks of ugly truth. Maybe it doesn't say ugly. Mine's ugly. You guys, and I didn't really like myself after I did that 5th step. I hated who I was. BYOC helped me to see clearly. They said, Denise, that 4th column is you without God. When I heard that, it helped me just a little bit. Because me without God, I could do something about that on a daily basis. Today, I could get God in my life. And because in BYOC, we actually have they gave me an inventory sheet that has a 5th column. And my 5th column is just the opposite of my 4th column. So it helps me direct myself, right? It shows me what I got to ask God to remove, and it helps me to ask God to help me with those assets. Help me be more loving, more kind, more understanding, more tolerant, more patient. And I need it all. You guys, if a lot of people I've met before, they're like, "Oh, you're so kind and patient," and I don't have that. That's not me. God only puts that inside of me. I don't have compassion. I watch my mother, she's 90 years old. I don't watch her. We live together, right? I'm like, oh, can you just get up? Can you just take a shower? Can you just change the bed? Zero compassion. But on the days when I ask God to come into my life, I come down, I'm like, hey, Mom, how you doing? Can I help you today? Can I change that bandage? Can I do something different? Right? It's not just about that daily making the dinner, doing the dishes, go to work, take care of your stuff. God, come in and make me more human. Help me be more loving and kind. So I told you God gave me this gift, right? 52 years old. I was gifted with twin little boys. And so today they're 8. Well, actually they'll be 9 in April. And these little boys are a gift from God. Never see me drink. They rarely see me angry. They know I'm an alcoholic, and they know all of you. They don't know your faces, they don't know your names, but they know Mommy's got a lot of special people in her life. And those people keep me in line. I have 2 adult children. I think both of them belong here, but that's not for me to tell, right? But I have a gift with that as well, because my son is married and has 2 children, so I'm a grandma today. I have a business that I'm not really sure, you guys. I'm in a place today. I don't know where I'm going with work or with life. I have a business. I own a business. I'm not sure if that's my path anymore, and that's okay. Terrified, but I keep giving that to God. And then you guys, we have this 12th step, right? We have this 10, 11, 12 step. And the 12th step, where's Derek? Because man, oh man, you're right. Life does have a new meaning. It really does take on meaning to watch others recover, to watch them get their families back, to be there when they stumble, to help them get back up, to have people that truly love you in your life today, is something you don't want to miss. It is a bright spot, even if it's 6 o'clock in the morning when I meet you guys. And I try to work with somebody almost on a daily basis. My weekends are my weekends. I rarely give up a weekend. Ask my friend Kathy. I rarely give it up. I got sober. I have a family. I have a huge family. And although you guys are the most important, actually, you're not the most important. God is the most important thing in my life today, but you guys come here a close second. But because of you, I've got what I got. And I cherish it. So I feel like I'm running out of things to talk to you about. So Eric, I'm sorry if I didn't take up my whole time here. But I'm in love with Alcoholics Anonymous, and I am grateful that I am a member today. I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you.
Denise, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. That was such a lovely share. And don't apologize. I mean, you shared exactly what God wanted you to share tonight. That was absolutely perfect. All right, guys. So we're going to open up the meeting. We got some time here. We're going to open it up for sharing. So raised hand, just click the little virtual hand down there in the bottom, and we'll call you in the order in which you come up, and we'll go for 4 or 5 minutes to share if you want. Who's up first? Derek, go ahead, baby.
Derek Alcoholic, what up, my people? Y5 Diana, Y5 Denise. The D's in the house tonight.